Okay, Frank Bonada here for LowKick MMA. Joining me today is Sam Patterson, set to make his UFC debut on the upcoming UFC pay-per-view card in March. Sam, thank you for your time today. How's it going?
Yeah, pleasure to be on. And yeah, going good. Just deep into training camp, like I'm training my bollocks off every single day. Um, just finished 2 sessions this morning. So yeah, everything's going well. Preparation's going correct. And yeah, I just can't wait. Just like counting down the days now.
Yeah, I bet. Before we get into the upcoming fight, I just sort of wanted to go back a little bit. Um, I think quite often when you talk about like regional UK talent, especially, people quite often look to sort of Cage Warriors and that sort of route. But you sort of made your name over at Brave, right? So I just sort of wanted to ask how that sort of came about, how you came to compete for them, and what it was actually like fighting for that promotion.
Yeah, it was good. Like I coming through the local scene, I was doing all the like leisure centre local shows. And then my teammate Charlie Leary was fighting on a Brave at the time, who's now with Bellator. And yeah, it just went down, it just become that path, like it was Cage Warriors, and then Brave. I didn't really look at anything else. He was fighting on it. I got an opportunity. And then I went and took that opportunity. It didn't go my way.
Mm.
Went away, racked up some more wins on the local scene, and then they come back asking me to come back. So yeah, it's just the path I went down. It was actually better for me, because I got to travel the world early. I got to experience all these different cultures and fight weeks in other countries and find the best, really the best outside of the UFC from different countries. So I've been tested against Dagestani wrestlers. I've been tested against world-class Muay Thai strikers. And would I have got that if I went down the Cage Warriors route? I don't know. Sometimes it's the UK versus the UK on the local scene. So it was quite nice to go down the path I did. Regardless, the end game is really the UFC for everyone, but I can't thank Brave enough, really. Flying me out to all these different countries, getting that experience. So it's no, what's the word? It's not going to be a shock to me when I do it for the UFC. If they get me on a plane, sometimes everyone fights in the UK, and then they get their shot for the UFC and fly to another country. That's normal for me. Like the last 4 years, that's all I've done. So really, fighting at home is going to be kind of something I ain't used to. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. Out of all the locations you competed in, what's the highlight one to you that you've had?
Um, there's quite a few. They were all good for a different reason, but
Yeah.
once we got there, Belarus was one of the nicest places. Belarus, I never heard of it. I didn't know what it was, like where it was. Sorry, and yeah, once because it was in COVID times, it was a bit of a madness getting there and that. But once we were there, the food, the hotel, everything was beautiful. Like I can't complain. Belarus was lovely.
Awesome. And then one step forward, you get the call to the Contender Series. First of all, was that something you were expecting at the time?
When I got the call, yes, because I was offered the call. I was offered the opportunity a few fights before,
Right.
after the Felipe Silva fight when I knocked out. He was in the UFC, and when I knocked him out in one round, um, I was offered the opportunity. But obviously, I was under contract with Brave, so I couldn't take it,
Hmm.
which was a blessing in disguise. Really, I can't lie. It allowed me to go out there, perform, and get a few more wins under my belt against guys that maybe I hadn't been tested against that early. I thought I was the guy, but going against some more wrestlers and stuff like that, I challenged myself against all different styles. So when I was out of contract and able to take the opportunity, I was ready for whoever it is. And now I'm in the UFC. I've faced all styles, and I believe that I'm ready to take on anyone in the UFC.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look down your sort of tapology resume, it's there's no layups in that list. So yeah, talking about your actual performance on the Contender Series, how do you rate it looking back?
Probably like a 6 out of 10. Like I
Right.
got the finish. I said I'd get the finish, and I got the finish. That's probably the most highlight I take from it. It was just a different experience, It was
Mm.
a lot of pressure. Like I don't mind, like I'm quite good under pressure. Like I like the pressure when it's put on me, but this was a different kind of pressure. Like everything you imagine, everything you've ever worked for, you've trained and fought and done all these training camps to get to the UFC. Like that is what we're all chasing to get to, and then to have that one more fight, one more win, in front, and it's not even the win because you can win and still not get signed. One more performance in front of the boss himself. That was pressure. I don't think I'll ever feel that pressure again. Probably not until I fight for a UFC title, you know. But yeah, it was amazing. I can't complain. The performance, again, I didn't know much about the guy, and he was game. Like, if anything, he's UFC caliber, and he trains with a great team. He's from King's MMA, and yeah, like when you're fighting on that show, you might give that one or 2% more because you know what's on the line. So yeah, he come balls to the wall, and it took me around to figure him out and adapt. And then once I figured him out and set the pace, it started changing in my favor. And then I calculated the finish and got the finish. You know.
I mean, yeah, once you were sort of in top control, it was all your way, sort of. Going to UFC 286, I mean, that is going to be sort of the polar opposite to fight in the Apex Arena in the Contender Series. Yeah, what are your thoughts? Just, first UFC pay-per-view in years in the UK, and you're making your debut on that card. Just, yeah, sort of your thoughts on what that experience is going to be like.
It all feels right. It all feels fitting. Like my whole career and coming to this point, racking up wins from all around the world, and then getting to come back on home soil, make my debut for the biggest organization in the world. It just all seems fitting. And the whole fact I've done everything. Like I've done the fighting in COVID where there's no crowd. Fighting in the Apex, there was still like 100 people there or something. I fought in front of literally no one, and I actually think I perform best when there's a crowd. I think most people do. I don't know what it is. Well, actually, not most people. Some people prefer no crowd, but I definitely prefer the crowd. And to come home and have it in my hometown, it's what dreams are made of, you know. And I can't wait to go out there and perform and do what I do.
Absolutely. Was there ever a chance that you competed before March? Because obviously, you made the Contender Series fight last year.
Yeah, I was. To be honest, I was trying to get out. Like I fought in September. I wanted to get out before the end. I wanted to get my debut done.
Right.
Tried to get out in December. I wanted to get my debut done, and it just didn't come about. They were fully booked the cards and everything, and I just didn't get the opportunity. And all I was doing in the meantime was just training the whole time, getting better, leveling up my skills. I didn't do anything else. So like, that's all I do. So yeah, I've just been leveling up day in, day out since my last fight. And yeah, I've come a long way since then. I'm a total different fighter from that fight, and you're going to see that come March. So yeah, December I tried to get out, but there was nothing else. They spoke about February, but and then it was like, the March card in London's coming in March. It's really worth waiting if you're going to make it on home soil, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're set to take on Yanal Ashmoz, I believe the name. He's another debut guy. Were you familiar with him at all prior to being offered the fight?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know who he was. Yeah, he's a tough, durable guy. He's going to come with that undefeated confidence, and it's going to be a great fight. You know, like I believe I faced his like attributes and style before, and I don't believe he's faced someone with my attributes and style, and I think that's going to be the factor come March 18th.
You are both sort of prospects. I mean, like you say, he's undefeated, and you're really on the come up as well. Both with super high finish rates. I think you've both only gone to the distance once in your wins. Obviously, you got the draw as well. How do you sort of see the fight playing out?
I truly believe if I go in there and do what I do, I find the finish within 15 minutes.
Right.
I think I set the pace high from the get-go, and yeah, just adapt accordingly from there. That's what I really do very well. A lot of people, if it's not going their way, it starts to fade. I set the pace and I adapt to any situation, and I start to take over, and that's going to be no different.
Awesome. If you look at the tail of the tape, the sort of the thing that stands out is the size discrepancy, right? He's 5'9", you're 6'3", I've gotten Tapology.
Yeah.
But then again, I imagine that's the case with a lot of your opponents. What was the cut to 155 like for you? And is there a move up in weight likely in the future, or do you reckon you're going to stick where you are?
Yeah, like that's what I meant by I faced his style before. Like I've faced 5'9" guys before. Like his stature, his build. I've faced them. He hasn't faced someone that's 6'3" like me and moves like I do. So that's what I meant by the facing each other.
Yeah.
And the weight cut, yeah, no, I'm a professional the whole way through. Like I've done a 12-week camp for this fight, and I am when I'm on, I'm on. Like, don't get me wrong, it's never easy. Like, it's not easy for anyone. But when people see me cut weight or make the weight, they actually go, "Oh, he makes it look easy." But then when they see me in person, like, how does he make lightweight? So it's a catch-22. I am professional the whole way through training camp. I structure everything, and yeah, like the last 3 camps, I've been within 0.1 of a pound during the weight cut every single time. So I don't see this one being any different. But I'm not too fussed about killing myself to make lightweight. The day that it gets too hard, I'll go up to welterweight. I am not hanging around lightweight for any advantage. Yes, I have the height, and yes, my range is good at lightweight, but I don't think it's going to be much different at welterweight. The guys will be bigger, but my range and how, like my footwork and how I move, will translate very well into welterweight. So I'm not sticking around lightweight for any advantage. Like I just make the weight professional, and it's not. There's probably other people making lightweight that struggle a lot more than me, you know. So yeah, right now I'm all good at lightweight, I would like to think. And the day that I have to make the move up, the day I think that like I'm not enjoying making the lightweight anymore, or it gets too much, then I'll just go up to welterweight. It's not a problem for me. But right now, lightweight's no problem. It's obviously not easy, but I'm a professional. I hold myself accountable, and yeah.
Gotcha. Obviously, yeah. So your opponent, he's making his debut as well. Not the biggest name. Is there anyone, or was there anyone else that you sort of had your eye on potentially in that lightweight division?
No, to be honest, I don't really focus too much on other people till their names on a contract. Even then, I don't really go into too much detail or focus on them. I truly focus probably about 90 to 95% on my game, my skills, what I do well, and then the other 5% of, all right, let's see what they do. Let's see their attributes. But he hasn't fought in a year, so if he's improved as much as I have in a year, he's not going to be the same fighter. So really, I'm focused on me, my skill set, and I'm ready for the best Yanal that shows up. But that was the name I got on the contract. I'm not the guy. I've never picked. You can see from my record, I've never picked the guys. Like, I've never picked an opponent. You can tell that because I wouldn't be picking them fucking killers back to back if I had a choice. You know, like I get given a name and that's who I face. So we've always had that mindset. And if I can't beat them guys, I was never going to be UFC caliber. If I had to pick and choose my opponents to get to this point, I probably ain't UFC caliber. Whereas I haven't. I've faced whoever's come in front of me on the contract, and that will show the fact come March 18th that I am UFC caliber.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant sort of mentality approach to take. Right, we spoke a tiny bit off camera about this. This past weekend, we just had Alexander Volkanovski move up in weight to fight Islam Makhachev. I mean, fight of the year so far, maybe, who knows, towards the end of the year. But what did you make of that? Two guys fighting at the very sort of apex of your division.
Yeah, I thought it was like, honestly, I thought that was pound for pound number one versus pound for pound number two.
Yeah.
Forget what people talk about. They were the best fight, and the best. That was incredible. Like, I've watched that fight 3 times now. Once as a fan, once taking bits from it, and third time probably as a fan again because it was just that good. Yeah, I thought it was amazing, and I thought both guys showed up. It was close, it was competitive all across the board, and I really hope that this opens the doors for other, like, not other sports. Let's say like boxing, like for the bet. Look at that fight, the best fought the best, and it was amazing. Now imagine if boxing done that, and the best fought, that we would have some amazing fights coming up. But they don't do it. So I'm hoping that fight, what people saw, translates, and people go, no, we should be doing the best versus the best. And yeah, I just sat and watched it as a fan. The whole card was good, to be honest. And
It was.
yeah, amazing.
What are your thoughts on sort of the news coming out today? The UFC rankings have been released. Volkanovski has remained pound for pound number one. Yeah. Do you think that's he's deserving of remaining in that position?
To be honest, I think that is exactly like we were talking about it training the other day, yesterday, that I actually think that performance, yes, he didn't get the win, but that made him more pound for pound. That performance and him doing what he done he didn't. Yes, the icing on the cake would have been him winning, and some people argue that he did win. But I think that made him more pound for pound. Like, I don't know how. I think a lot of people see it the same way. Just how he performed against this this killer that is just like meant to be too big, too strong, and I'm sure that is what pound for pound is meant to be. Like the guy that can his skill set translates well over multiple weight classes. So really, yeah, I think it stands. I'm not shocked that it's standing how it is, and that makes for really. He wanted the rematch. Now, if Islam was pound for pound number one as well, that probably wouldn't happen. But that's what Islam was chasing. That's why he wanted that fight, and he hasn't got what he was chasing for. He already had the lightweight belt, so he hasn't actually gained anything from that fight, whereas Volkanovski has.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it does set an interesting precedent as well for the sort of the future. But one last question for me then. At the top of your card, UFC 286, Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman are going at it a third time. Can I get your breakdown and your sort of prediction for that fight?
Yeah, I think to the point, Leon gets it done. Like I feel like I'm probably being biased.
Same.
UK guy. I think most people are, but really, even if you're just looking at the last fight and compared to this fight, the things that played a factor, the altitude and stuff like that, will not be a factor this time. He's got it in his hometown. He's got it not in his hometown, but in the UK on home soil, and that was a factor in the last one, which won't be a factor now. Kamaru Usman being knocked out in the last one, who knows? We don't know till the night. He don't know till the night how he's going to come back from that. And I feel Leon is legit the best welterweight out there across the board in striking, grappling, everything like that. And yeah, I think the home crowd's going to cheer him on, and he's going to get the job done again.
Yeah, we will see.
Unbiasedly, maybe a bit biased, but who knows?
Yeah, it is something special to finally have a UK champion once again, and the fact that we're getting a pay-per-view in the UK, it just shows the impact that it really can have. Thank you so much for your time today, Sam. I really do appreciate it. If you'd like to sort of give a shout out to any sponsors or any shout outs you'd like to give, the floor is yours.
I say this after every interview when I get this moment, and I don't want to read out a couple of sponsors and forget a couple of the others, because that's worse than just naming some. So what I'll do is when you post this out, I'll tag all my sponsors in there. And thank you to my team Crossface, and everyone that's playing a part in my preparation for this fight. You know who you are. Sponsors, my team, my family, my missus, everyone that's helped me on this in this fight camp. Thank you. And March 18th, tune in. It's going to be a show.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKickMMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.